refuge as well in the Dharma taught by all the Buddhas, the permanently dwelling within.
什么是黑暗？就是你的无明。什么是光明？就是你。
Please say something to Chess. Okay, thank you.
오산사 소리 들리십니까?
예, 잘 들립니다. 감사합니다.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Let's continue with the chanting instruction from Master YongHua. Feel free to ask any questions as they arise.
By all the Buddhas, the permanently dwelling within.
什么是黑暗？就是你的无明。什么是光明？就是你的智慧。
What is darkness? That's your ignorance. What is light? That's your wisdom.
你皈依三宝之后，就增加你的智慧，能以有宅法眼 知道哪一样是对的，哪一样是不对的。
Taking refuge in the triple jewels increases your wisdom. You can use your Dharma selecting eye to see what is right, what is wrong.
那个对的，你就照着去做去；不对的，你就不要去做去。
What is right, you should do. What is wrong, you shouldn't do.
你们现在都要皈依三宝，我对你们所说的话，你们都明白不明白？
Now you almost take.
Now you are all taking refuge in the triple jewels. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
好。
You know, answer.
Yes 是明白是不明白。
Yes, you understand, or yes, you don't understand. Yes, understand.
那么既然明白了，对于这皈依三宝之后，是不是能依教奉行？
Now, since you understand on,
会不会不依教奉行？
So, now that you understand it, can you practice according to the teachings? Will you practice according to the teachings?
are you going to be able to? Are you going to not offer up your conduct in accordance with the teaching?
好，
OK
要是能依教奉行，就是好弟子。
All right. If you can practice according to the teachings, you are a good disciple.
要是不依教奉行，那就不是好弟子。
Okay, that's very good. If you're able to.
If you cannot practice according to the teachings, you are not a good disciple.
我希望你们一定都会做一个依教奉行的这个弟子。
Okay?
I hope you all become disciples who practice according to the teachings. Okay?
Yes.
在这个日本佛教里边呢，做了10多年，现在他又来这儿皈依，是不是会依教奉行？
He has been with Japanese Buddhism for over a decade. Now he came here to take refuge. Would he practice according to the teachings?
Now there's a question for over a decade. What is Dharma here? 说一下在这说法在这。
你怎么知道的？
How do you know? I see it.
你怎么样吸的？
How do you see it? All over.
好，现在请1333吧。
How do you know? How do you know? All right, now we will invite the triple jewels of the 10 directions.
Now we'll invite the triple jewels in 10 directions.
香花灵。
God has been a request to the triple jewel to come and serve us. Now the compassionate light of the triple jewel illumines you all. But there still remains a fear that from past eons, the bad karma which has been done, which blocks the source of your mind, is extremely great and has not been totally removed. Therefore, all of you should now, before the triple jewel, produce great repentance and produce great shame, great fear. Think of the sufferings of the hells and put forth the Bodhi mind. Seek for compassionate forgiveness. Say your Dharma name. Follow after the end, whatever.
With flowers, we welcome. Now that you've taken refuge, can you practice according to the teachings?
Now that you've taken refuge, are you able to offer up your conduct in accordance with the teachings? Yes. If you're able to offer up your conduct in accordance with the teachings, that's being a very good disciple.
If you can practice according to the teachings, that's your respect toward the worldly Dharma.
Now,
today, due to time constraints, our refuge ceremony is over. Let's stand up now. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amitabha Buddha.
do you want to take 5 precepts?
Okay, let's go back to this thing here. Okay, 184. Yes, sir. 2.
Emitofuo Master, I see in one of the slides he says worldly Dharma. What is that?
I come to that. Okay.
Okay.
Let me hold up until we get to that. If I didn't answer your question, remind me. Yes, JMT.
Teacher Hasun has a question. She went to an acupuncturist to treat her knee. The acupuncturist told her that she has a lot of anger inside of her. So please teach her how to deal with the anger. Thank you, Master.
Who is this?
Teacher
Who has anger issues?
Teacher Hasun.
Hey, son. She's too old to be angry. Does she realize that she's almost 1 foot into the grave and the other? Why would you be angry anymore? Tell her, just remember your age. And every time she's angry, say, I'm too old to be angry. I should be reciting in Buddha's name. Case closed. Next. I can't believe it. She has sons who are like doctors and so forth, and she's too angry. I hope it helps. Good luck to you. You're too angry, Amitabha Buddha will not accept you. All right, what is darkness? It's your ignorance. What is light is your wisdom. Okay, so wisdom shines a light on things, therefore you can see more clearly. And wisdom there is basically yours. When you have wisdom, you see a lot clearer. So that's why wisdom is equated to light. You see clearer with light. And darkness is where you don't want others to know. You want to operate in the dark like demons. When you take refuge in Triple Jewel, you increase your wisdom. Yes, the objective of Triple Jewel, the Triple Jewel is to help you increase your wisdom. So when you take refuge in Triple Jewel, you are asking us to help you in that, to do that. And that's why eventually, if you still stick around as a Buddhist disciple, you will increase your wisdom. That's a fact. And you can use your Dharma selecting eye to see what's right and wrong. Okay? This is one of the things that Master YongHua emphasized. You see, remember, this is the early times in San Francisco where he didn't have a lot of disciples. Most of his disciples were from the hippie era and maybe homeless people in the park who would come in for an hour or two's worth of heat and free food. And that's what he was doing. So he says, in the next few slides, he keeps on stressing about, will you do what you're told? You do what's right and wrong, okay? And so Master YongHua stresses that you have you have this thing called the Dharma selecting eye, because you yourself know what's right and wrong inside of you. Okay, inherently you know what's right and wrong, and that's your inherent wisdom, and that is called the Dharma selecting eye, meaning that this is part of cultivation. We all should wield this Dharma selecting eye so that we practice, we select a Dharma door that's proper, that's beneficial to us. Don't use this eye here. With this eye here, you'll be able to discern what is not proper, what is not good for you. Okay? As you learn more about Buddhism, we learn more about, yes, we're waiting for you, we give you a chance, 5 fingers. As you learn more about the Dharma, your Dharma selecting eye will become more precise, much better. Yes, 5 fingers.
Master, you said the Dharma selecting eyes are inherent. Does it mean potentially everybody already has the Dharma selecting eyes?
Yes, we all have it, but this Dharma here refers to Buddha Dharma. And so as you learn more, you will be able to improve this Dharma selecting eye. Okay, and that's important. You need to be more discriminating when you choose a spiritual path. You need to choose what's proper, what's good for you. Okay, you can't simply follow your friend and the people you know, follow the crowd and do what they do. That's should be not something you should be doing. You should be using a Dharma selecting eye to discern to see what's right and what is wrong. That's what he says. All right? And if it's right, you should do it. What's wrong, you shouldn't do it. That's Sharpening the Buddha's teaching. He says, if it makes sense to you, it's right, then you should proceed. If it's wrong, you should back out. It's fundamental. Don't hesitate. All right? And so your knowledge, your wisdom, your Dharma selecting eye is important in your spiritual path. Now you're taking refuge in a triple jewel. Is it clear? So he keeps on talking about it. Maybe who is worried about a translation, or is worried these people were, these young men and women were under the influence. So he kept on saying, if you're going to be Buddhist, you're going to stick around here to do the three refuge ceremony and become a Buddhist, there's an implication for that. You're committing yourself to follow the teachings. Otherwise, there's no point in calling yourself Buddhist. Okay? And so will you learn, do according to the teachings? If you do with that, then you're a good disciple. You don't do that, you're a bad disciple. And I hope, okay, he says, I personally hope that you, my disciples, will do according to the teachings that's given to us from the sages of old. There's been a Japanese gentleman who's been with Japanese Buddhism for over a decade. Now he is here to take refuge. So will he practice according to the teachings? See, he seems to be obsessed about it. I don't know. Okay, how do you know? Know what? I don't know this section here. Anyone has any clues? If I say, how do you know? How do you know? 你怎么知道的? Huh? What's the connection here? Okay, so now they're going to start into the refuge thing. So the interesting point here is that when I learned the Chanchi, Master YongHua wasn't around. And so I went to the City of 10,000 Buddhas, and I participated in the Chanchi as a lay person. One of the wings there, the buildings, old buildings. And then Master YongHua was around, but he was ill. So what they did was they followed the schedule from 3 in the morning until midnight, every single day. The schedule that we have here, we observed that. And so that's how it was practiced under Master YongHua when he was still alive. So it's very comforting to me to know that it's a practice that he designed and he approved, and that's what we're doing. And so from then on, I shaved my head and practiced with them, and we followed the same schedule until now, where they shorten it, okay? Only because they don't understand the reason for the long schedule, okay? It's very ingenious to do it that way. But the way it's done right now is that you stick to this rigorous program. But you notice here, this is a Chanchi, and yet Master YongHua was doing a 3 refuge. Okay? So this is to let you know that if you don't have an active, good-knowing advisor, then you can stick to the schedule, the strict schedule. But if you have Master YongHua as a teacher who can give you live talks and answer questions for you, then you see the Chanchi is not necessarily confined to just sitting for all day. Is that clear? So this, to me, is very comforting to find out this is what he goes on and does these things. And that's exactly what Chan training is. It's not that rigid. is rigid only because you cannot provide the teachings from a teacher. Is that clear? So that's why you have a choice. You can practice Chan and you follow the schedule here, or if you're able to, you can join us and all these various places and practice and listen to the teachings and ask questions. All right? So in the midst of Chan Chi, he allowed them to take refuge. And that's still Chan training. You see? That's how he used to train his disciples. It's lost. They don't do it anymore. Now it's rigid. You just sit, and that's it. And so this is a text from the Refuge with flowers. We welcome you with flowers. We invite you here. I, disciple Gota, and the others sincerely request the presence of Sharpening Buddha, our fundamental teacher, Amitabha, Buddha of the Pure Land. You remember that, don't you? Okay, very good. Yes, question from JC.
입주 장광호님 질문입니다. 택법만에 대한 복력이 부족하면 스승한 도량을 소개해 주어도 잘 못 오게 되거나 해당 도량에서 수행을 지속적으로 못하게 되는 것일까요?
Master, this question is from Ibju Changho. And this question is about Dharma selecting eye. If someone is lacking on Dharma selecting eye blessings, does that mean someone else's recommend for a great temple and they're not ended up going to that temple? Or even if you're in a great temple but you're not continue to cultivate at that temple, is that right? Thank you.
Okay. The Dharma selecting eye is not about temples, great or not. The Dharma selecting eye is the ability to see what proper Dharma you should follow, you should practice. It has nothing to do with temples. You don't need to go to a temple. You can simply have the Dharma selecting eye and you practice on your own as well. It's perfectly okay. There's no need for temples. All right? Now, let me try to answer the question because it's not clear about this Dharma selecting eye here. So how do you sharpen this Dharma selecting eye? Okay? Basically, here's what happens. This is a concept that is new with Master Xinhua. Basically, the Buddhist disciples go to a temple and then they listen, they offer some incense and offer some flowers and eat some food and do some ceremonies and listen to the speaker, to the monk or the nun speaking Dharma. Okay? And in doing so, you begin to familiarize yourself what happens in a temple, and maybe hopefully you see what's proper, the proper way to walk, the proper way to talk, and maybe the Dharma that you hear from spoken at the temple. And that's part of the formation of your Dharma selecting eye. And so when the question is about a great temple, meaning that's a temple that's proper, that's well-known, so forth, it's not necessarily have a lot of correlations with the Dharma selecting eye. What I would recommend you that you do as far as Dharma selecting eye is look at the word. Dharma selecting eye. 者法眼. Okay? 者 is to select. Dharma, eye. The Dharma, the eye that selects the Dharma, meaning you are able to recognize the Dharma. What Dharma are you recognizing? Okay, the Dharma you've seen, the Dharma you heard. And therefore, this Dharma selecting eye here is what you naturally wield when you go to temples, go to places, go to universities. You have this accrual, this database of knowledge, reference points. Okay, and so based on your knowledge base, you will select a course of action. Okay, so in order to sharpen your Dharma selecting eye, this is what I recommend to you. I can't emphasize this enough. Do not, especially if you're new to Buddhism or been old and old hat to Buddhism. Okay, what I recommend you do is to understand the importance of the Dharma selecting eye, because every step of the way, you need to make the right choices according to the Dharma. Yes? Okay? And therefore, this Dharma selecting eye here is used a lot more often than you think. And so how do you sharpen it? Make sure that it works well for you. By learning from the patriarchs. Don't learn it from small-timers like me. You should learn from the patriarchs first. Learn from these sages who are enlightened, preferably patriarchs who are teaching, who have been teaching. Okay? And so you learn from them, you know whatever they teach is a proper Dharma, and that's the basis of your Dharma selecting eye. Is that clear? And once you learn, you first learn, and this, I can't emphasize this enough. It's not okay for you to go to any temple and learn the stuff there. I don't advocate that. I advocate that you look for the patriarch's teachings first. If you have a life patriarch, great, go there and learn. If you don't find a patriarch, okay, that you can have access to, then look it up online, look it up in a library or whatever, okay? That's what you ought to be doing, because that creates a reference point for you to what is proper and how far it deviates from the proper. That's what worked for me. I didn't know much about Buddhism, but I lucked out. I went to a Vietnamese master. I didn't have a chance to meet with him. And then I went to Master YongHua, and then I learned Master YongHua Dharma instead of learning the Vietnamese master's Dharma. And as a result, okay, I use his teachings as the reference points for everything, including what his own disciples were trying to teach me. Okay? That's how you should be developing your Dharma selecting eye. Use the patriarch's teachings as reference. Don't just use any book, any monk, including myself. I can't emphasize this enough. You have to first start with the patriarch's teachings. So, you've been Buddhist for a long time, okay? And then go back and dump everything you learn. And if it's not a patriarch, dump it. That's what I would do. Yes, 5 fingers.
Master, how about sutras? Is sutra also as good as the patriarch teaching?
The sutras are good depending on the translations. This is very, very dangerous. Sutras, if you learn it from the original sutras, if you're Indian, you should learn it in Sanskrit. If you're Chinese, you should read it in Chinese. But other than that, remember, originally the sutras were either Sanskrit or Pali, and then the Sanskrit version of it, meaning Mahayana version, was transmitted to China and translated into a Chinese by a lot of bodhisattvas. So those are the best versions of Mahayana, the most authentic, most accurate teachings from the Buddha. And in particular in China, they have these patriarchs who are excellent at explaining and elaborating on those teachings. That's what you ought to be doing. Okay, now I go back to the sutras. Now you have this original, sutra text from Sanskrit, if you can read it, or from Chinese. And then they're further translated into Vietnamese, into Japanese, Korean, and so forth, English, and so forth. Now, you have to be careful about who translates it. If it's translated by a scholar, dump it. Except for one scholar I know of, I can think of, all of them are pretty bad. They don't know how to translate properly. None of them. No scholars I know of. Again, there's only one exception I'm aware of. That's it. Okay? So practically, you might as well dump all the scholars' translations. Next, you know that in Chinese translation, when they went from Sanskrit into Chinese, back then, they sent a lot of bodhisattvas. The Buddhas sent a lot of bodhisattvas to China to help the translation. They just sent these Indian masters who went to China at great hardship and perils for their personal selves. And they came to China, and then they understand the original Sanskrit text. And then some of them learn Chinese or fluent in Chinese. So you see, they're bilingual, or they cooperated with the Chinese monks, okay? And so, so the translation into Chinese was most excellent. But after that, even the translation to Vietnamese and to Japanese, Korean, and so forth, you have problems. Okay? And so my point being that if you don't understand the original language, Sanskrit or Chinese, then you must do it like I did. I didn't understand Chinese. I certainly don't understand Sanskrit. So what I did is again, it's a sheer luck. I stuck with Master YongHua translation. Okay, it's certified by him, sort of, and then by his disciples. Okay, and so that's very good. So of all the translations into English, their versions is by far the best. So again, dump the scholars. I would not even bother reading any English translation. I'm radical, okay? Because to me, I spend a lot of time reading all sorts of junk, especially translation into English from the Japanese teaching. They're all junk. I spent so much time, and I realized those people who translated those so-called Zen teachings, Master Zen teachings, they're confused like hell. I'm sorry, Japanese people, okay? It's so bad. They don't even understand. The English translation is so bad that I know that they don't understand even the original Japanese teaching even. That's how terrible it was. So I read so many of these. I was patient. This is a person who translated from Great Master Dogen, Kukai, others. And I read and read one after another, and they're all so bad. They're all so confused. Okay? So avoid the junk. It's not worth it. It only confuses you. Will dull your Dharma selecting eye. Okay? It's very important for you to avoid these pitfalls. I wasted so much time. I wasted years of my life reading junk. I ended up having to dump them. Okay? It took me 3 years to dump all the things I read. I'm a voracious reader. I read anything that I could understand on Buddhism. And so in terms of English translation, I think by far for you is the best to learn it. And then eventually, I hope that you disciples, when your Kung Fu a little bit higher, when you get a little bit older, okay, I would like you to consider going to doing a translation work yourself. There's so many of you, your generation. I'm hoping to train more and more of you so that you have enough to do the Dharma propagation work, helping people, okay? But also the translation of the text is very important. And hopefully, I hope that your English translation will be far better than Master Hsuan-Hua's versions. And I know it will be, because in terms of accuracy, their translation to English is good for mid-range. Okay? That's about it. Mid-range to a little bit higher. But any high-level Dharma, like a Mahasattva Dharmas, you are SOL. Okay? You try to learn advanced Dharmas in English, it ain't available. That's how bad it is. So that's why I hope you, okay, in the future, many of you will become enlightened. I want you to reach the more advanced levels than Master Hsuan-Hua's disciples, and I want you to commit your time to translating the texts. It's very important. One of the reasons I'm teaching the Avatamsaka Sutra is in order to transmit to you the very important Dharma that Master Hsuan-Hua did not transmit. That's why them people are lost. They cannot get very far. Okay? Has to be transmitted to your generation. So you better pray to God, I'm still alive. I have a chance to explain it to you. If not, you'll be ashamed. You miss out on this opportunity. Yes, you too.
Master, we have several questions to do with the Dharma selecting eye.
Yeah.
I'll start off with Samson Lau. Hi, Master. What's the difference between the Dharma selecting eyes and your best judgment to determine right and wrong? Is the Dharma selecting eye something you open through cultivation, like the wisdom eye?
No. Basically, it works like this. You have your own thinking. You have your own reference points from your worldly Dharma, from what you learn. Okay? And then, if you want to use a Dharma selecting eye, okay, instead of relying on your base knowledge, you always check against the patriarch's teachings. That's what I do. I ask myself, is this consistent with Master Hsuan-Hua's teachings? So you need to read a lot. Okay? You need to read the sutra texts. You need to read Master Hsuan-Hua's teachings. I would not even bother reading a lot of patriarchs' teachings. For example, Xu Yun, I wouldn't bother. The Chan level is too low. Let the Chinese be enamored with it. We don't have to. Let the Asians be proud of it. We don't have to. We are Americans. Huh? Okay? There are certain patriarchs I would not even bother. Fifth patriarch, oh, may his soul rest in peace. I would not even bother reading the fifth patriarch. Okay, there's certain patriarchs I feel are subpar. This current patriarch, it's a good thing he's not showing up. I would discard his teachings too. Okay, so some patriarchs are not good enough. The role is really not to transmit the teaching. You only need one person like Master YongHua. That's good enough for many generations. And so stop infecting yourself, burdening yourself with junk information, including some patriarch's teachings. It's not good enough, seriously. Okay? And so, for all practical purposes, for all of you here, your generation, you have a treasure trove of teaching from Master YongHua in Chinese and in English. Please take advantage of it. I know I'm being radical because, I wasted so much of my time. And to me, my time is very important. I don't like it when I waste my time or people waste my time. Okay? So for Samson, go learn, he speaks English, learn from the English translation of the Dharma from Master YongHua, and then use that as a reference against what we have here. Okay, and that's what you do. As you're driving, turn on Master YongHua's MP3 files and so forth. Just listen, one ear. That's all you need to do. You don't need to sit there and mold it and whatever. All I want you to do is just listen. That's all. And that's how you sharpen your Dharma selecting eye. Next.
Okay, the next one is Robin's Nest. Emitofuo Master, though it may sound unrelated, is there also a Dharma selecting ear? Is perhaps the eye a figure of speech and skillful means to convey Dharma selecting perceptions?
There's a Dharma selecting eye and the Dharma selecting ear that can recognize bolero music versus Taylor Swift. Okay, that's a good concept. How about Dharma selecting ear? What is that? Okay, she's right. Dharma selecting eye here refers to your perceptions, all the sense organs, because the teaching is not just what you read, but also what you hear, what you smell, how you feel, the presence of that particular teacher. For example, when I started teaching, as per Master YongHua's instructions, I said, he told me to teach, but he didn't tell me how. So I better look on how other teachers teach. And so I looked at all sorts of teachers, famous teachers, and even Sunday night I would flip on the TV and watched Joel Oberstein. I research everywhere. I looked everywhere. And I remember this video of this Taiwanese monk who had this big temple and a lot of devout disciples there in Taiwan, I think. The Taiwanese are very naive, They, that's a great master, so and so. So everyone look at it with adoring eyes, okay? And so he would start first here at the altar. He started going in. He started going to into the audience, very much like a great preacher. You get close to the people, to your disciple, your people, you see? So he started going there. And so you can see how he reacts to the crowd. Because when he's up here, he gets too many of you, okay? But when he got closer, his arms started shifting. And I realized that if you have samadhi power, you wouldn't be like shifting your eyes. Like, what's the young man's name again? Andres, you forgot. You ask him a question and you're using your head. That's why your eyes are shifting. If you're not using your head, your eyes will be still. You notice that? So yes, the Dharma selecting eye is about seeing, okay? Seeing that if the master's eyes are shifting left and right. You know, by the way, we monks are not supposed to glance. We're supposed to look like this way, look this way, and never. You see someone do this? That's a bad Dharma master. So this guy keeps on shifting his eyes, and he was like, so he's too schemy. And so your eyes give you a lot of information, but also your ears, the voice, and the smell. Did he take a shower? There's a Thai monk who's very proudly walked to my temple, Lu Mountain Temple. He says, I haven't taken a shower for 3 years. Smell me. That's Go Yin. So one of Master Shinhua's old disciples, a good friend. He hasn't taken a shower for 3 years. He hasn't bathed for 3 years. He tells everyone that. Smell me. Yes, I'm having fun with Robin's next question. Yes, absolutely. It's about your sensory organs, okay? Yeah, all of those information. Next.
Okay, next is Ray Zhuang. Master, BTTS recently started listing flower adornment English sutra translations by Dharma Mitra Hangsho on their website. Do you know if these sutras are okay to read?
I don't know Hangsho. I remember when I became a novice, I thought I was the last one. Actually, there's another one, Hangsho, who is a professor. And he's tall. He's Chinese. He's skinny. And so he was given the precepts, and then he was sent back to his university. He's kind of a retired professor or something. So his specialty was to translate into English. Okay, Dharma Mitra, I don't know, what sutra is Dharma Mitra? Is that Hinayana or Mahayana? My recollection is that the only Hangsho I know of is that guy. And if that's the case, who asked the question again? Ray Chuang? Yeah, you can skip it. His kung fu is not that good. Before you translate, you need to have a certain level of samadhi. Your samadhi level is too low, please don't bother translating. Especially you Vietnamese people, Vietnamese monks. You don't just go and get a PhD in Buddhology or spend 20 years studying the Dharma. I've read, many of these monks and nuns who says, I've been a monk and nun for 20, 25 years. Now read my translation into Vietnamese, into English, whatever. It's all junk. Why? Because the smarter level is too low. And the funny thing is that they would send their translated work to a panel of monks and nuns who have PhDs in Buddhology to get approved. Why would you do that? Okay, so no, I would not bother. That guy, if I still remember him. You don't become, you shave your head and go back to your own world and keep translating. You shave your head. You first undergo the training. In particular, in our training, we train you from the bottom up, meaning you got to do everything. You got to clean bathrooms. You need to mow the grass. You need to do dishes. You need to learn to cook. You need to learn everything. Okay? And as your skills improve, then we start teaching you. You don't just I'm shave my head now. I go back and still Master Shoha did that. I go back and then I still continue as an acupuncturist. I still continue as a professor and so forth. It's not a worldly training at all. This is transcendental training, very specialized training, designed to help you develop your samadhi and your wisdom. This is why we're doing all this. Okay? And so I respectfully disagree with their approach. Just because you have credentials at PhD, and he has some pretty impressive credentials in his disciples, the Hung, they have some pretty impressive credentials. PhDs in Buddhology in Wisconsin, and so forth. Berkeley and so forth. Sanskrit, PhD in Sanskrit in Berkeley and so forth. They're very impressive on a resume. But look at them. Their samadhi level is too low. They shouldn't be translating. They shouldn't be certifying. No. Sorry, long answer. I'm getting older, so I ramble a lot. Next.
Oh, Master, we have so many
Again,
people.
I'm radical, so please take whatever I tell you a grain of salt. Okay? This is an old man.
I have here, we have Cordelia, who has a question for you. Emitofuo, Master, when you say Dharma transmission, do we physically have to be at the temple, or can we be on YouTube that day or watching YouTube in the future and still be able to get transmission? And then after we get transmission, how can we ensure we practice the Dharma?
Well, it depends on the teacher, I guess. For me, anything goes. I am easygoing. I'm not like Master Sheno. I said, you have to be a disciple, you have to follow precepts, you're going to do what you're told. I expect you not to follow precepts. I expect you not to do what you're told. You Americans! It's perfectly understandable. Okay? So we don't expect Americans to do what they're told. That's why they are Americans. And so, for me, you can receive it online if you officially follow the teachers, especially the abbots are allowed to transmit it to you. And you practice accordingly. I know I won't ask you that will you follow a practice according to the teachings? I know it's try your best. Okay. Next.
You're very popular tonight, Master. I have here Fang Lan. She says, Master, I overexhausted myself recently by taking on more work and family duties to the extent that I triggered my stomach pain and migraines again. I see my greedy nature to achieve more, to earn more reputation for leadership, and to show I am better, but I ignored the alarming signals of being stressed out. I read the CHB 2, that's the Chan Handbook 2, for the greedy chapter. Happiness can only be achieved by reducing desire and content. Is that a conflict of don't be a bitch, do more and help more, don't be afraid and endure like a man? Something is off in my understanding, but how do I find the middle way?
I don't know how to answer this question. Because I contradicted myself, she pointed out to me. So she expects me to contradict myself again? One side I say, be content, and that's how you become happier. And the other side I say, do more. What is what? This one is a doctor. As a doctor, he took the oath of helping others as a sacred duty. Because few people do that anymore. Now people are calculating, as the doctors are calculating, what's in it for me? What do I need to do to rise to the ranks so that I become a CEO of the hospital? And that's where the money really is. It's not at low levels. So the top guys, and it's not just doctors, but the top guys, they all shoot for that. Unlike here in Silicon Valley, where you guys are well rewarded for your technical expertise. Okay? But outside of that, it's you need to reach the top. And you forget about what's important in life. And that's what I want you, left home people, and you, lay people, to understand this, understand why we're doing this. Okay? I'm very proud of our record that the last 17 years, we struggle a lot together. We endure a lot of hardships, a lot of obstructions, a lot of heartaches. And you endured me as a very incompetent teacher, unwise teacher. But the end result of all this time is that it makes me very proud of all of you, in that we have this pride that I see it in you. I'm very proud of you, that you are pillars of society. That you go home after you come to the temple and join us and learn these practices. You come home and you are a pillar in your family, where your spouses can lean on you, your children look up to you, are influenced by you, your friends like you, your neighbors respect you, your colleagues would like to work with you. You are important pillars of society. in very small ways, in very humble ways. We are all little pillars out there. Look at this Buddha hall without the two ugly pillars that no one wants. There's no Buddha hall. You notice that? This is so typical what we do. We're poor, we're ugly, but we're pillars. Okay, without that, there's no Buddhism here in San Jose. The Dharma will not be here in San Jose unless there are these ugly pillars, 3 ugly pillars. And I asked him, how much does it cost to replace these pillars? I was told $5,000 each. That's 10 years ago, something like that. Now it's $20,000 each. 8,000 right there. Look at that. It's $8,000. But think about it. It's so funny. Every time I come here, look at these pillars, I say, oh my God. It's so embarrassing. You go to the other temple, the pillars are round, they're big, they're tall, they're impressive. And look at ours. And all the pillars are so beautiful in the other temples. They have a name, Samsung, IBM, Dr. So-and-so. Huh? Look at us. No one would want to put a name on our pillars. Well, it's funny, but I'm so proud of it, that you are pillars, because I notice and how your family changes in subtle ways. Your children become more adorable. Your son believes in doing good. Instead of trying to only worry about his promotions and sacrificing the employees that he can do without, he still tries to help them. I'm so proud of that. Even though he only comes to his son only comes to the temple maybe 3 times so far, and look down upon us. Why are you so poor? Are you for real? What kind of Mahayana are you? You that poor? You're not even a temple. Nothing looks like a temple here. But you quietly are pillars. Pillars are not supposed to draw attention to themselves. Because we quietly are trying our best to help. We're not asking to be recognized. We are not asking to be rewarded. So as long as you do that, then it's okay to exhaust yourself, to become sick. And then you learn how to deal with your sicknesses, fix your sicknesses. But don't be a pussy. I taught you about bitches. Don't be a bitch, okay? Don't be a he-bitch, okay? Now I'm telling you, thank you for the question. Don't be a pussy. Next question.
Did you know? I'm sorry? Okay, there's... I see Fang Lan has a response, a comment. Thank you, Master. I definitely see all the positive changes around everything you said. I see myself struggle because partly I'm still greedy for self-gain under the cover of serving others. I'm grateful. Thank you, Emitofuo. There's also a question from Nick Lee, I think it is L-Y. Amitabha Buddha, can you explain more about the law of causality? Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.
Causality is that force equals reaction. You do something good, there will be a reward for you that's good for you. Okay? If you do something bad, there will be some bad consequences for you. That's all you have to remember. Nothing is above it, including Buddhas. No one is above it. That's all. So the consequence is that do good, don't do bad. Avoid doing bad, just do good to the best of your abilities. That's simple. Okay? It's nothing to understand. It's about doing. Are you manipulating others? Are you stealing from others? Are you scamming others? Stop it. Are you lying to others? Stop it. Stopping that is to do good. Don't look at the positive things. You have so many bad things you can look at and stop them. I'm not teaching you about the good things because you know them already. I want you, it's a much more challenge for you to look at the bad things that you've been doing and stop it. Master Xinhua said, are you going to follow, the teachings? I make it clear for you, okay? Yeah. Stop doing the bad stuff. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't covet others' cars. Okay? And so on and so on. Okay? Next.
I think that's it. I think that's it for now, Master.
Okay, very good. Okay, going back to slide 195. Okay, and by the way, I forgot to mention, the one thing I like about America, I'm very appreciative of. I came to the Midwest, where I got my education. I spent a good part of my life there. Okay, and then the Midwest is very, very Catholic or Christian, if you will. Okay, I came here and I learned to appreciate what makes this country special, America so special, because these people, it's the ordinary people, it's the cops, it's the worker at the coffee shop, it's the clerk at your grocery store. All those people are what make America great, so special to me. You know what's so special about them? They're very decent people. They said, the Lord tells me not to steal. The Lord tells me that I should lend a helping hand. And that's what they do. There's a certain level of decency in these people that's pervasive in a small town America. It's not as clear here in the big cities, metropolises, because people are hustling. New York, forget it. Okay? New York, everyone for himself. But there's still a level of decency that people have. And that's what, America is very moral, because the immigrants, the what they call it, Mayflower, what they call it? I have to ask you, yellow-faced people about English? I deserve what I get. Okay? Those.
The Pilgrims.
Thank you very much. Okay, the Pilgrims who boarded the Mayflower, they brought their religion here so that they can practice it, okay, to their heart's desire, and they're very proud of it. Okay, it's pervasive in the fabric. What makes America great in spite of Jung's dickhead. Okay? I mean, and these people who are confused nowadays, but the majority of the people here are so decent, so honest, so kind. And that's why this country has so many blessings, because we are decent people. You know, we don't go in, you know, if we invade, we only invade Vietnam and Grenada and so forth. It's small countries, small harm. Not much harm, okay? Okay? But as collectively, the culture here is very religious. They are Catholic, they're Christians. And they believe in decency. Okay? And I'm hoping, the reason we bring Mahayana to this country and work hard to do this, because I want to bring it to the next level. Not just decent, but lend a helping hand. Help others. Forget about yourself for a while. When you have a chance to help, just help. And go back to your schemy thing when you're alone. I know about your schemings. Nothing new. Okay? It's okay to scheme for yourself. But when you have a chance to help, help. Forget about yourself. That's Mahayana. No reward there. Just be proud of the fact that we're decent people and then we help. That's America 2.0. Before Master YongHua came, it's America 1.0. Now America 2.0. And let's make it happen together. Hallelujah! Why do I feel so cheap again? And please subscribe, right, Peter? Yes, Wayne Mountain. See, Peter was proud of me tonight. I'm preaching Mahayana 2.0. Please subscribe.
Thank you, Master. I especially appreciate your hint that the pillars at Gold Forest will be available for super thanks donations in the future.
I'm glad he's keeping me aware of the reality. Yeah. Anyone, you see, people don't see it. Why we are continue to be a good country, powerful country, because the fabric, the majority of the people here, yellow, black, white faces and so forth, are very decent. We may disagree, we may fight each other, scam each other, but ultimately we're very decent. We believe in morality, we believe in decency. Just move it to 2.0, okay? Forget about yourself, your pettiness. Help others. Yes, Wayne Mountain.
네, 마스터. 정부에서 취업을 좀 도와주는 그런 지원금 사업 같은 게 있는데 진짜 제가 원하는 그런 직업이 아니고 그런 직장이 아니어도 지원을 하게 되면은 그거는 거짓말이고 불투도가 되는 건지 문의드립니다.
All right, don't translate. Let me guess.
Master,
Wait.
from the government,
Don't translate. Let me guess.
Oh.
Did anyone watch Johnny Carson, the Karnak thing? You don't watch TV. Even you guys are the most boring people I know. She says, "This is my 12th day of fasting. I'm so miserable. Don't be fooled by how I look. I feel very bad. I look happy, but I feel bad inside. Can I stop?" Can you believe she's like 12 days of fasting and she looks like this? She's the only one who looks like this after 12 days of fasting. Everyone bitches and moans when they fast. You know, I hate this, I hate myself. Why do I got talk to doing this? Okay, go ahead. Second version of the translation.
Master, she asked totally different subject. Sorry.
Need to work on my Korean language.
So there is a program from the government. They help with the finding new vocation, new job. So if I choose a job that I don't want to, is that something related to precept for not lying?
The job you don't want to? I don't understand. What does it have to do with lying? I need more background information.
사실은 이제 그 지원금이 나오는 게 있는데, 그거를 이제 받으려면은 직장에 지원을 여러 군데를 해야 돼요. 근데 사실 마음이 그냥 지원금만 받고 직장은 좀 더 있다가 들어가고 싶어서 진짜 원하는 직장도 아닌데 이렇게 넣고 싶은 마음이 생기거든요. 그게 문제가 많이 될까요?
So, Master, to be honest, if I explain, so what happened is from the government, they gave us support money. So in order to receive that money, I have to apply to the several places for the new job. But what I want to do is I just want to receive that money only, but maybe look for the job later. So that's the situation. Is that a lie?
No, not necessarily. You should apply, and if the government asks you to do something, do something. They are not asking you to succeed. Who knows? You might go through the program and run to a boss or a job that you like. Just go through the process. Wei Mao.
Thank you, Master. I know some time has passed since we were listening to the recording of Great Master YongHua, and I'm certainly not an expert, but I believe my Dharma ears detected the voice of a pale-faced translator in the recording.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard anybody translating Great Master YongHua live before. Is that one of his disciples, one of his Sanghas? Can you talk a little bit more about who this person might be?
I don't know who that person is. He's probably no longer around. Number one, at the time, he didn't have a lot of monks and nuns. At the time, he didn't have a lot of disciples who could understand Chinese. Okay, so he had to teach Chinese, whole Chinese classes at his temple. And so a lot of these people, he didn't, the real Chinese speaking people would not come to his temple because he's not a real monk. They have better things to do than go to an obscure monk who has no money, who has no temple. So you can imagine his difficulties in getting his Chinese words translated into English. Okay? And so he had to teach, train his other students on the basics of the Dharma and the words of the Dharma and so forth. And so the translation was not very accurate, okay, and they're learning. And in particular, these people were new to Buddhism. So these are white students who like the Dharma, and they're learning Chinese, and therefore they help out in the translation. And so, but they're no longer around. Okay? It's a temporary thing. Eventually, when he became better known, then he was able to have more better educated, more competent disciples that he could train and develop out of necessity and help them get to a level where they can do a good job translating into English, so to bring the level of Mahayana English text to where they are right now. So that's a very important achievement they have. But the early days, and these people, they're not very helpful. All right? Anyone else? Yes, JMT. Lots of questions tonight.
좀 전에 그 위산사에서 단식하신 김보경 씨 질문에 대해서 좀 구체적으로, 좀 직접적으로 질문을 좀 드리려고 마스터로부터 정확한 대답을 듣기 위해서 제가 마이크를 잡은 거고요. 제 질문은 아니고요. 일단 세라님 여기까지 먼저 해주세요.
Bogyong just asked question about that receiving money from the government. Jumi wants to explain the whole program more specific, so you might be able to understand more.
어떤 내용이냐면 김보경 씨가 질문하는 거는 직장을 구할 마음이 없으면서 정부로부터 지원금을 받기 위해서 그렇게 어플라이하는 것이 거짓된 것이 아닌가를 질문한 것 같고, 이것에 대해서 마스터의 답변을 듣고 싶습니다.
So basically, she doesn't want to get a job, but she is planning to. She's saying applying to the government as if showing that she's looking for a job and receiving support from the government. Is that a lie?
It's a white lie. But again, I said, it's a white lie, but who knows? She might find something that she likes. Okay? We have the similar thing here in the US. It's nothing new. All right. Let's continue. Slide 195. If you can practice according to the teachings, that's your respects towards the worldly Dharma. I don't know why he's talking about worldly Dharma. Okay? He's very young back then, so he's not old age and being decrepit. But his teaching is not worldly Dharma at all. When you talk about worldly Dharma, it's because all the teachings here it's called worldly Dharma. It's because it will, all the teaching you learn are designed to help you stay in the world, attain worldly goals. Transcendental Dharma or Mahayana basically are designed to help you get out of the world, get out of the wheel of reincarnation. If you stay in the world, then you will reincarnate in the world. So you're planting causes for you to stick around and continue to evolve. Whereas the Mahayana, the Master Shunya brought to the US, okay, it's transcendental, it's not worldly Dharma at all. So definition of worldly Dharma, the kinds of practices that will keep you in the wheel of reincarnation. Okay? Contrast that with Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism in particular, are designed to help you get out of the wheel. So they're not worldly dharmas at all. So I don't know why he mentioned your respect towards worldly dharma. Don't have to worry about that. It's not that important. Okay. Today, due to time constraints, our refuge ceremony is over. Let's stand up. Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha. And they recited this in that English sort of music there, a musical thing there that we no longer do. Okay, I don't know what that is. And that's the last of the slide. Any other questions? You have 3 more minutes. Actually, 1 more minute. Very good. You got the hint. Very good. Oh no. JC.
저 관세음보살 보문품을 보면 관세음보살을 염하라고 나오고요. 약사경에서는 약사열애의 이름을 들으면이라는 내용이 나오는데요. 관세음보살 보문품에서 염하라는 뜻과 또 약사경에서는 왜 염하거나 아니면 뭐 부른다라는 표현보다는 들으면 그 복을 얻게 되거나 가피를 입는다고 그렇게 나오는지 그 차이가 뭔지 궁금합니다.
Don't translate. If she wants to know about Wanyin Bodhisattva Dharma, talk to the old abbot there at JMT. He's a specialist. Not it? Okay, translate.
Master, I'd like to ask about Guanyin Bodhisattva's teaching related to the universal chapter for Guanyin Bodhisattva versus Medicine Master Sutra. When we read from the universal chapter, they say recite Guanyin's name. And then when you look at the Medicine Master Sutra, they don't say recite or call. They say hear the name of Medicine Master Buddha's name. So I'd like to know the difference between Universal Chapter Door said recite and Medicine Master Buddha's Sutra said hear. What's the difference? What makes the Buddhas to respond?
When you recite Wanyin Bodhisattva's name, you're asking him, asking her to help. Okay? And so if you do it right, she will come and help you. And the Buddhist scriptures have plenty of cases like that, millions of cases where a lot of people ask Wanyin Bodhisattva for help, and when she hears of the request, she will come and help. Okay, help people save their lives from being harmed by bandits, being drowned in the river, or being oppressed by their wives, and so forth. So those are plenty of cases like that. I'm not clear about Medicine Master Buddha's name, where you hear it and he comes. I don't recall that section at all. Basically, in Buddhism, you have to be proactive. You have to ask for help because they're busy, as you can imagine. That they're very busy, so you need to ask them for help. In Buddhism, the general rule of thumb is that you have to ask properly before we can help you. If you don't ask, we cannot help you. So just a mere fact you hear Medicine Master Buddha's name alone will evoke a response. I don't know that section at all. Anyone knows what she's talking about? Okay, why don't we defer this to giving if she could provide us with that text and that she quoted from the next time, and we can discuss it. All right? Thank you, everyone.